Iona added the final dish of goose and roasted vegetables to the big oak table, the warm glow from the fireplace making her dual-stranded necklace, which was of white stones and black stones, crystal-dotted ancient base, and the second strand was of simple white stones with emeralds embedded. The touches of classic necklace she wore seemed to light up from inside. 3 tall candelabras cast a cozy glow that went well with the huge Christmas tree overseeing the pile of brightly wrapped gifts. The manor was full and dressed up in holiday style, opening its arms for Iona's kiddos who were returning home to Rosslyn next to the chapel, having been away for quite a while. As evening gently fell across the lake, resembling a comfy woolen throw, the sound of eager little feet ran along the stone hallway. "Granny, we're totally hungry," shouted 10-year-old Bridget, zipping into the room, her red hair bouncing about. "This place smells delightful." Right behind his spirited sister, Brian's eyes widened, as they were giant saucers wowed by the spread laid out for their yearly Christmas banquet, a time when everything felt perfectly fine in the world. Iona smiled warmly, her eyes twinkling as she called over to the eager young ones. "Grab the best spots while we wait for your uncle to come back with Kay," she said, placing fancy napkins at the top of each seat. Just then, her brother-in-law walked in with pride, carrying a big bundle of greenery. "Got something for you," Uncle Magnus shouted, kicking off the snow from his boots. He loved to put on a show. He waited till all eyes were on him before revealing a beautiful pine tree, decked out with sparkling lights, shiny tinsel, and big bows. "Merry Christmas," he cheered, and everyone marveled with excitement at the lovely tree symbolizing life's persistence he'd brought in. Right behind him was young Kai, laden with last-second presents that they had quickly placed below the glittering branches. Filled with their bright surprises, Iona smiled at Magnus. "Is everything ready at the chapel?" Magnus nodded as he worked. "Yes, the guards have cleared the paths for our traditional visit to Mary, and they are on watch to ensure no outsiders are allowed into the casket room. They know their duty, and I took them some warm food and drink as you requested. They will be ready to receive our family at Mary's casket tomorrow, as is the family tradition." Iona smiled. "Thank you. I never doubted you were caring and attentive to the family." When Donald, their dad, came down the stairs, everyone in the family held hands around a fancy table lit by shiny candle holders and old-fashioned plates. Iona raised her glass to start the usual toast. Then all of a sudden, the big wooden door swung open with the wind whistling behind it. A large man pushed his way in with snow flying around him as he was dusted with powdered sugar. "Da!" the kids yelled together. They ran up to Alastair, who had just gotten back from a fishing trip in the winter. He picked up Bridget, who was giggling, and gave Iona a big kiss on the cheek. He shook off the snow from his thick scarf and coat, leaving little bits on the floor. "I would have come through even worse weather to get here tonight," he said loudly and proud, "but I can't lie. It was faster this time without having to zigzag against the nasty winds." He shook hands with Donald, strong and sure. Uncle Magnus handed him a cup of hot spiced mead. To family, Iona raised her glass again once everyone settled down. To old traditions and new ones too. She looked around at their shiny Christmas tree and warm, crackling fireplace that seemed filled with the same love her dad used to bring to the house every Christmas Eve. Touching the heritage necklace she wore, a family treasure full of secrets, she thought about her mom and all the women before her who had kept their special family history alive, a history that connected them to Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Her voice clear as a bell, Iona started out old Gaelic blessing, and it sounded light and airy as it filled the room. While they lifted their glasses, she saw Alastair's soft smile and thought back to when they were just married, with no idea that every path leads you right back home. Before long, their children would be off exploring the world, and with any luck, they'd come back home, bringing new traditions to last a lifetime. But tonight was about being with your loved ones, keeping the cold outside at bay with warm fire. After dinner with roasted bird and meat pies, everyone was laughing and sharing funny or heroic stories. Their loyal sheepdog lay at the rug, completely happy except when he'd wake up for a snack that dropped close to his nose. When the clock in their home rang out the time, Iona got up to put away the dishes. She turned down help from both Donald and Magnus, despite their insistent offers. Taking off her necklace, she felt its 2 smooth strands glide through her fingers, shining with a light that seemed almost magical. As Donald and Magnus lit up their pipes, Iona called over her daughter, Bridget. She handed the family treasure to Bridget, wanting her to understand its importance. It was not just any piece of jewelry, but a link to brave women and long-held secrets. One day, you'll pass this on as the eldest daughter, she said. Bridget had lots of questions in her eyes, but without a word, she put on the necklace. It didn't hang down very far. It dropped just past her neck. Iona grinned as she fixed it in place, saying one day they'd add Bridget's own story to it. Then Bridget would safeguard the deep history of their special necklace until it was time to add more to its story. Bridget looked at her mother. I have already decided. My strand will be as green as the Scottish Highlands, the white stones of the chapel, and I will add a pendant to celebrate our family protectors and joint bloodlines of the Knights Templar. Iona smiled at her daughter and looked at her husband. I see you've been thinking of this blessing and obligation for some time. Bridget held on to the black stones spotted with white and crystal, handed down from her ancestors. She had a serious nod. Iona planted a kiss on her forehead and laughed. Don't look so grim, little owl. Tonight's for fun and making happy memories. They went to join everyone else, huddling together to tell the old story that had been shared during sacred days and Highland fires, about a baby born in a manger who brought hope to lands once buried in shadow and blessed the world. He was their remarkable ancestor. Come morning, warm cocoa will put smiles on sleepy faces as kids rip open gifts to Santa, their laughter filling the air. But tonight is about the wonder of St. Nicholas soaring through the sky, the possibility of stars guiding shepherds who might just see angels dance once more. It's a time to pull those you love close and to be thankful for every bit of joy we find along the way.